Good morning, and welcome to this week's edition of Marquette in Motion. We're your hosts, Hallie Kilberg
and Miranda Peters. We hope you're all having a wonderful Saturday morning, and if not, we've got some segments to hopefully brighten your day.
To begin, Miranda and I will be talking about my favorite time of year, Advent.
Justina will then be here in segment 2 discussing a recent, very exciting day that our seniors took part in, Job Shadow Day.
Then our senior reporters, Jeb and Garrett, will be here with the sports report.
Luke will then this week be beginning our senior interviews, and our first senior to be interviewed is Ethan Pfiffner.
And last, but certainly not least, Amy and Macy will be here looking ahead.
Speaking of looking ahead, we tend to be doing a lot of that in December.
Often with the excitement of Christmas, Advent is overlooked, but not today.
The word Advent, defined as the arrival of an important person or thing, is derived from the Latin word adventus, which means coming. For Catholics, Advent is a 4-week season leading up to Christmas. During Advent, we anticipate the coming of Jesus. It's a time full of reflection, excitement, and hope.
You may be familiar with the Advent wreath, but what do those colors and candles represent?
The first candle is the candle of hope. Purple is the primary color associated with Advent. Within the Catholic Church, it symbolizes penance, preparation, and sacrifice.
The second candle is the candle of peace, which is also purple. During the second week of Advent, we reflect on our lives and work on becoming better versions of ourselves in preparation for Jesus' coming.
The next candle is the candle of joy. This third candle is pink, symbolizing anticipation and rejoicing. During the third week of Advent, we are filled with joy for the near arrival of Jesus on Christmas Day.
And the last candle of Advent, which is also purple, is when we rejoice in the endless love that God has for us, which is made apparent in the birth of His Son, Jesus.
So, how is Marquette celebrating Advent?
Well, each Monday morning, the entire faculty and K-12 student body will assemble in the church for an Advent prayer service. The prayer services are planned by Marquette's spiritual committee and involve Bible readings, songs, and little plays bringing the Christmas story to life.
Marquette is also celebrating Advent with its generosity. As we told you last week, students and families are invited to donate $10, which will go towards our Takeaway Hunger food packaging event in January during Catholic Schools Week.
Next to the generosity tree, that Christmas tree in the MEC lobby, there is a graph to reference where we are compared to our $2,500 goal, so students, every time they walk to lunch, practice, or through the school, will be able to see progress as well as the beautiful tree, decorated with gift boxes made from recycled Christmas cards and the names of those that have donated.
And to keep the giving going, Marquette's NHS is also once again sponsoring the Giving Tree. Families can place unwrapped items such as diapers, blankets, coats, mittens, toys, etc. under the Christmas tree in the Marquette High School entryway. These items are then given to the Operation New View, an organization serving families in need in Dubuque, Jackson, and Delaware counties.
And speaking of bringing unwrapped gifts, that's a wrap for segment 1. But don't go away, we'll be back with more Marquette in Motion after the break.
Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now is Justina Denlinger discussing the Senior Job Shadow Day.
On Tuesday, November 27th, the senior class experienced Job Shadow Day. After considering each senior's interests and future career plans, school counselor Miss Julie Schmidt, along with the seniors themselves, organized these visits. What kinds of jobs did our seniors shadow, you ask? Well, Sydney and Macy spent the day at the Jackson County Regional Health Center in Maquoketa, while Savannah went to the Chem Rights Laboratories. Luke spent the day with the Jackson County supervisors, and Brooklyn shadowed the writers at Eastern Iowa Farmer magazine. Lizzie worked at the Jackson County Police Station, and Jake shadowed the DNR. Lauren and Lucas traveled to John Deere in Dubuque, while Jeb went to Kuhnau Implement in Preston and the Bellevue Feed Store. Sunny and Tiana went to IT Heartland Financial in Dubuque. Meanwhile, Tyler spent the day at Truck Country, and Garrett job shadowed a veterinarian at the Dubuque Humane Society. Mackenzie also spent the day in Dubuque, learning from the team at the Dubuque Telegraph Herald. Alex traveled across the river to Illinois as she worked with the students at East Dubuque Elementary. Danny and Ethan both job shadowed for physical therapy. Ty job shadowed a distributor for Coca-Cola. Gwen traveled to Cedar Rapids to job shadow with the OPN Architects. And I job shadowed the vets at the Lamont Vet Clinic. Thank you to all the corporations, businesses, and organizations for making Marquette Senior Shadow Day such a beneficial and memorable experience. And now it's time for my feature about Shadow Day to be just a memory. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Justina Denlinger.
Thanks, Justina. And now, shining a light on the recent sports events are Jeb and Garrett.
Thanks, girls. In dance news, the Marquette dance team finished up their state dance competition in Des Moines yesterday.
The girls performed a pom routine here, but the results will be in next week's edition. Basketball started this week off Tuesday, November 27th with a quad against the Central City Wildcats.
The first game began at 4:30. Here, the JV girls kicked off the night with a win. The JV boys game followed. However, they were not able to pull out a victory.
The Marquette varsity girls took the court at 6 o'clock where they were able to beat a tough Central City team. The boys rounded out the night with a nail-biting game against the Wildcats, with the teams neck and neck all the way through the fourth quarter. Despite a halftime lead, however, the boys were not able to take home the victory.
On Friday, both the girls and boys teams traveled to Alburnett to take on the Pirates. And today at noon, the JV girls and boys teams will be playing Bellevue, and at 6 o'clock this evening, the Marquette varsity teams will be taking on the Comets as well. All those results will also be in next week's edition.
Also, on Thursday, Marquette's own Quiz Bowl team traveled down to Clinton Community College's sponsored Quiz Bowl competition. Here they placed second overall out of 9 different teams.
For Marquette in Motion, this has been Jeb Schwager
And Garrett Krieg
with your Marquette Sports Report.
Thanks, guys. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Marquette in Motion after the break.
Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now is Luke Keys with his inaugural senior interview.
Hello, listeners. This is Luke Keys for Marquette in Motion. This segment, in which we call Meet Marquette, I will be interviewing one of the high school seniors, Ethan Fiffner. Ethan, thank you for being here.
No problem.
Now, Ethan, do you know if you're going to college after high school?
After I graduate from Marquette, I will be attending the University of Iowa.
Okay. So, what will you be studying at Iowa?
I'm hoping, as of right now, to study exercise science as my major.
Okay, and what do you hope to do with that major?
I hope to graduate with a bachelor's degree in that and then apply for the physical therapy program. So I hope to become a physical therapist in the future.
Okay, and what persuaded you to become a physical therapist?
Well, throughout my high school career and middle school, through sports, I had a lot of injuries, and I was oftentimes in the physical therapist getting treatments and stuff like that, and I thought the connection between the patient and the doctor was really interesting, and I thought it would be a really cool career choice to get into.
So what does for listeners who may not know out there, what does a physical therapist do?
It's basically injury rehabilitation, and it also helps the elderly too, to keep their muscles intact.
Is it just isolated to sports, or are there other things you can help out with?
There are multiple areas. I think there's like 8 areas that you can get into, sports being one of them and orthopedics being another.
And which one of those fields would you want to go into?
Sports would definitely be my top choice. To be able to work with top-tier athletes would be a top goal of mine.
So would you want to start at like a high school, college, or would you want to go to like NBA or NFL?
I would hope to be at a college. A lot more opportunities in colleges, and they pay well, but NBA or NFL would all be very cool opportunities.
All right, well, I think that's all we have for you. Thank you very much for being in here.
Thank you for having me.
And that will do it for this segment, in which we call Meet Marquette. This is your host, Luke Keys, signing off.
Thanks, Luke. Now we'll have Macy and Amy looking ahead.
On Monday, December 3rd, the JV and varsity girls and boys basketball teams play at home against Durant, beginning with JV girls at 4:30 p.m. There is also a junior high girls game at Prince of Peace beginning at 4.
On Tuesday, December 4th, there is another set of home basketball games, this time against Maquoketa Valley. Both boys and girls JV and varsity will play with JV girls beginning at 4:30 p.m.
On Wednesday, there is a junior high girls basketball game at home versus Aquin beginning at 4.
On Friday, December 7th, there is another quad basketball game at North Lynn beginning with JV girls at 4:30 p.m. This Marquette North Lynn game has been designated as Coaches vs. Cancer. All are encouraged to wear black. On Friday, the junior high girls also have a makeup game against Cal Wheat at Wheatland beginning at 4.
At noon next Saturday, December 8th, the JV teams compete at home against Edgewood Colesburg, while the varsity games begin at 1:30.
For looking ahead, this has been Macy Kramer
and Amy Sewarding
for Marquette in Motion.
Thanks, girls. And listeners, don't forget today's basketball game. Marquette Mohawks taking on the Bellevue Comets. The JV games begin at noon.
After 4:15 Mass, come on over and watch the varsity teams battle. Tip-off will be at 6.
Also at the varsity games, Fidelity Bank and Trust will be giving $5 for each successful free throw and $10 for each successful three-point basket, with the money given to the team's respective booster club. So come on out and cheer for your team.
And now it's time for us to get to that JV basketball game.
For Marquette in Motion, this has been Hallie Kilberg.
And Miranda Peters.
And remember,
Stay informed,
stay involved,
stay
in motion.